Hey, you want it? I got it. Let's talk about it. Coming to you raw and uncut. So, no editing, just raw stuff. As it is, as it goes. Hey, welcome to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. Let me know how you're feeling. All right, SmackDown tonight. It wasn't an absolute trash show. I mean, it was okay. I mean, we deal with the same thing as we go through every week. You know, a lot of commercials, a lot of promo ads. Um, I'll be glad here. I think in a couple of weeks, or at the last Friday of this month, I believe SmackDown's going to go back to 2 hours. Hopefully, we'll have less commercials and less talking and more action. Hopefully, let's see what happens when that comes on. But anyway, again, welcome to the channel. Um, Tonight's show was okay. There were some pretty decent matches, I guess. Of the matches that were available, I believe we got 4 matches tonight. Would have had 5, but anyway, they were good. Well, at least 2 of them were okay. Um, So let's kick it off. We get started with LA Knight, coming to the ring, and I'll be kind of glad when this thing with LA Knight and Seth Rollins, is ended. Either something with the faction or whatever the case may be to end this because I think it's like holding back not only LA Knight but Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Why this faction is together the way that it is, it's kind of like a ripoff of the Bloodline because it's like copycatted towards that situation. But anyway, so we have LA Knight coming out of the ring, and started out talking about how him and Seth been going on back and forth in each other's matches, interfering, beating the crap out of each other and stuff. So I'm thinking that, they're trying to get this thing to a head and get it over with. And then Paul Heyman comes out and stuff because he calls out Seth Rollins. And as he calls Seth Rollins, here comes Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman comes to the ring talking all kind of junk and stuff like he always does. And he says that, he's the wise man that serves Seth freaking Rollins. Well, which is true. Because we know what he did as far as with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. So we know he's with Seth Rollins. We don't know why he's with Seth Rollins or anything like that. But as he's talking, LA Knight interferes and tells him to shut up. And LA Knight asks him why is the real reason why he's down here. So Paul Heyman ends up, telling him that, hey, Paul Heyman's telling LA Knight that he's his biggest fan and stuff like that. And then he goes on after saying that, kind of like almost threatens him. And he tells him that Seth Rollins gives him permission to say this to him, that he has a choice. He can leave tonight, okay, but if he doesn't leave the show tonight, he's going to pay for it. So, LA Knight comes back and says, hey, are you threatening me? And out comes Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Here they come. So they attack LA Knight. They get a good portion of LA Knight, kind of get him a little bit beat up and stuff like that. But then LA Knight grabs a chair and he starts beating down Braun and Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. So you got a little bit, back on him and stuff like that. So Paul Heyman, is like, we got him where we want him, kind of like thing in the back. So after that, then we have Alexa Bliss and Asuka. This match was okay. Wasn't too bad. A little bit, rusty, but nothing real crazy happened. Asuka won the match and everything, I believe, and this is for in the final spot as far as the Queen of the Ring is concerned. So that's good. I have to give it to Oscar. She did win that position and everything, and good luck to her. So she'll be either going up against Jade Cargill or Roxanne Perez, for the Queen of the Ring at Night of Champions, which will be held on the 28th of this month. Okay, and then we go to Jade Cargill. She had a segment um, saying that the Queen of the Ring throne is like a throne room and stuff, and that this kind of match was kind of built for her. She kind of gave Oscar her props, saying Oscar is the future, you know, um, I guess, of the industry. She's like the storm that's coming. But then Jay said that she's the storm that's here, that's already arrived and stuff. And then she goes on to say that, this Queen of the Ring is kind of, like prestige to her. And that when she goes in, Queen of the Ring. So I guess she's predicting that she's going to beat Roxanne, but also I'm predicting the same thing. I do not see Roxanne Perez beating Jade Cargill. It would make zero sense, but it would be interesting. But anyway, so she said she's going to walk in and she's going to walk out and she's going to be the reign. She's going to be the queen. So we'll see how that goes at Night of Champions. And I will be putting out a prediction video out on that here shortly. And then we go to where Aleister Black was going to go up against Kit Wilson, but Kit Wilson was attacked by R-Truth, aka Ron Killings. Uh, he beat Kit Wilson down. I mean, he put a little brutal whooping on him and stuff. And then after that, there's he's back and he's asking, Nick Aldis because he wants John Cena right now, even though they have a match already scheduled for tonight. But Truth is going off. He's done lost his rocket, and then Aleister Black comes in and asks him, tells him that you interfered in my match, why are you in my business and stuff like that, and then Damian Priest comes out and he says, hey, look. Ron said, R-Truth is going through some stuff and everything, and it wasn't anything personal. And then Damian Priest talks to Ron, R-Truth, and tells him, kind of, calm down, kind of basically, get out of his head and everything, take that anger that he has all built up inside him and take it and push it towards, you know, um, John Cena when they have their match tonight. So I'm thinking that, R-Truth is, he's going to go ahead and do all that. So he's going to chill and stuff, which is cool. And then we have the segment where Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, they come out, everybody's eating and everything. I still like the pop that Jey Uso is getting. I think he's still a crowd favorite and all this and stuff. And it's crazy that Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso are going to be facing each other. And I don't know how that's going to come out. It should be a good match. We'll know next week. Um, but it should be a good one. Then Sami Zayn comes out and stuff, saying how he's going to, do what he's going to do as far as being the, king of the ring and moving on. And I feel more that there's going to be a heel turn with Sami Zayn. I'm not really sure when that's going to happen, but I'm seeing signs of it and stuff. So through all that, the match with Sami Zayn and Randy Orton was probably the best match of the night and stuff. They kept it back and forth. Sami Zayn, with the Helluva Kick, got caught in an RKO, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton moves on. Who he's gonna face at Night of Champions for the King of the Ring? Could it be Cody? Could it be Jay? Right now, I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be Cody because I think Cody's going to be in the position to probably win King of the Ring. Which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I want Randy to win and everything to get the number 15 and stuff, and be two up under John Cena. It it's gonna be interesting. We gotta see what the ride is and what Triple H is gonna do with this because basically in the King of the Ring you have four faces in the King of the Ring. Nobody's a heel, so who's gonna turn to be heel and stuff? It's like they did it so backwards wrong with this. But anyway, I'm not the writer. They are. Triple H is the one that's in charge, which I'm not going to go there. There are other people to go ahead and put that out there like that. But Triple H needs help. So, okay, so then we go to Nia Jax calling out Tiffany Stratton and saying how Tiffany, ruined her and stole the title and stuff like that. So Tiffany comes out and says, that Nia Jax is jealous because she's not better than her, and that, that she's saying that herself, Tiffany is saying to herself that she beat Nia, and then, she actually says, if you want to fight, then we can have a fight, and she challenges Nia Jax to a last woman standing match. Now, I was hoping that that would be a match that would probably be for Evolution, but I guess not. But anyway, so that match is going to be next week. It's going to be interesting how that's going to happen. But then as Nia destroys Tiffany, Naomi comes out to try to turn in, cash in on the briefcase and stuff. But Nia Jax, interfered and all that. So it was not going to be introduced. But I'm thinking that when they have this match, the last woman standing, I believe that's when that's when Naomi's going to turn and get the championship from there. And I see that Jade Cargill, will probably win the Queen of the Ring and will set that up for Naomi and Jade for SummerSlam as far as that title is concerned, which could be interesting because then, you know, Bianca would be back by then, and then now what's going to happen with that? Stay tuned. Love to see what that's going to happen with that. That's going to be very, very interesting. And then we go on to the next match with Chelsea Green and Charlotte Flair. I mean, the match was okay. There was a lot of botches in it and stuff like that, but for the most part, I mean, it was okay. Charlotte is not the regular Charlotte that we all know from a long, long time ago. But the match is okay. And then the her service, they attack Charlotte, because Charlotte wins the match and everything. And the her service attacks her, beats her down. And then here comes Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss comes out and tries and helps, Charlotte get the upper hand and everything. And then once they, take Chelsea Green out and the her service, take them out, Alexa Bliss extends her hand for his handshake. But nothing happens and stuff. Charlotte just walks out. She just leaves. So we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be kind of interesting. Will they pair Charlotte and Bliss up together? Okay. Then we move on to Solo Sikoa calling Jacob Fatu out. And he's saying that he's extended his arm to Jacob for what happened at Money in the Bank when he made the attack on Solo and told Solo they hate him and hit him with hit him with a super kick to the face. But anyway, Solo's saying that he loves Jacob Fatu and he wants Jacob Fatu to say the same thing. But Jacob Fatu ain't about that and stuff. You know, Jacob basically says, hey, it's not about anything. It's not about family. It's not none of that stuff. It's all about this belt and everything. And if you want this belt, you know, you gotta come, come get it. So the challenge is on. And I said this a long time ago when I first started this channel that Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu was going to get into it, and one of them was going to be a champion, and they were going to be fighting for that belt. I think it was my third or fourth video that I put out. And I just started my channel about 4 months ago. So I can't wait for this match to happen. I knew it was going to happen. So it's going to be interesting. And then we have Bronson Reed going against LA Knight. The match was a good match. It was pretty good, but we already knew that it was not going to be anyone getting pinned. Knew the interference was going to happen, and it did. And Braun Breaker comes in, spears LA Knight, and then spears him again. Then Bronson Reed tsunamis LA Knight at least 3 times, and they just left him laying. The faction and everything. I mean, they just, there was no Seth Rollins there tonight. It was just Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman. And Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker destroyed LA Knight. So it's going to be interesting. Things are going to happen. See what happens down the road with that situation. And then we have the main event with R-Truth, going against John Cena. And R-Truth was kind of putting this thing in there. You give John Cena, he always gives John Cena a pretty good match and stuff, and then John Cena, does a little heel thing and stuff, because he couldn't take it because R-Truth, Ron Killings, however you want to call him, was putting it on him, and then John Cena decided to get his belt and leave. Leave, and then R-Truth goes after Cena. Cena picks the belt up, clucks R-Truth in the head, gets disqualified. R-Truth wins by DQ. And through all that beating that he put on R-Truth, here comes CM Punk. And CM Punk comes out here, and then he gets wasted by John Cena too. John Cena gives him the attitude adjustment through a table, sits down, and just talks completely trash over CM Punk. Now, I would be hoping that CM Punk at Night of the Champions would take this title from John Cena. It would be very, very interesting and stuff because it would be kind of like what happened 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago when CM Punk won the belt and then he left. So I guess that's what John Cena's trying to do, the same thing. I guess that's why CM Punk says he's trying to copy what he's done and stuff. But anyway, now the champion seems like it might be set up for some great matches. We'll have to see because the way things have been going, they need a good pay-per-view or PLE, whatever you're calling it and stuff. It needs to happen. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. Let me know how you're feeling. God bless you. Deuces, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.